This video is about the advanced stepped RSI from ForexStation. I didn't create the main part of the indicator. I added some of these things, which I'll explain. This indicator, depending on the setting, can be a confirmation indicator, but it can also be an exit indicator or a confirmation and exit indicator, again, depending on the setting, or you could use two and have two different ones, one for exit and one for confirmation. It basically has 3 RSI indicators that operate at different speeds. This is the main RSI period. These are the step size of each one. The fast one is the gray or white. Then the green one, that's the medium, and the gold, that's the slower one. Well, here's the original one. So if you see it, it has these other lines in it. What I did is I added a bunch of these modes, ways of drawing the dots, almost 50 or so. The NR means a normal mode, which it's really when the fast is above the medium, for example, this one, it will draw a dot. So it's basically when the gray line is above the green line, it's going to draw a dot. And then the next one is the fast above the slow. So when the fast is above the slow, it's a slight change. Some of them you won't notice very much of a change at all. Depends on how fast you have the settings. Like this one here, this is fast above or below the medium line and the fast below the slow line. So it has to be above both. And this other one is the fast above the slow and then the medium above the slow. So there's quite a number of different modes here. And you can see it over here, fast above the slow and the medium above the slow. So that's what this is. The medium has to be above the slow to draw a dot, and then the fast has to be above the slow also as well. When you see a ZL, that means zero level or zero line. For example, this first one, it's just the fast above the zero line. And this right here, this is a indicator generated zero line. You can change the zero line down here to where it's just, for example, at the zero level, like that. And then, or you can switch it back to the generated one. You can change, when you're on the indicator generated one, you can change its period. For example, if you put that to 50. Oh, let me go back. Let me put it to 10 so you can see the difference. And see how it follows the indicator more closely. But then if you were to raise this, say to 50, see it's a lot straighter. So anyway, you can play with that. And then when you get down here to the SLP, that means slope. For example, this one it's a zero line. Fast has to be above the medium, fast has to be above the slow, and then the fast has to be above the zero line. Sounds like a lot. So anyway, and that's what this is. Fast above the medium, fast above slow, and fast is above this center zero line. Have any of these? These are all what they consider slope. It's measuring the slope of the line when it draws the dots. For example, we'll just do the medium slope only. So it just follows slope of the medium. If it stays the same, it doesn't draw the dot. And then, the medium has to be above the slow, and it has a fast slope. So we'll try that one. Okay, medium above the slow, for example, and the fast line, the slope has to be up. So that's what this particular one is. The zero line, or the ZL plus SLP, is zero line and the slope. So this is a fast slope, and the fast RSI has to be above the zero line. So that's what that looks like. And if it won't, if you choose, like for example, this slope here, See, it doesn't draw the zero line. The zero line is not used, so that's how come you'll see it on some and not on others. If you have the ZL in there, it'll draw that zero line. So basically, that's these modes. The other thing that it has is, here we'll do this one. And this is a fast above the medium and fast above the zero line. With this variable right here, this next one down, this mode distance from the zero line, you can see the range here. It's generally around 50, from 0 to 50 or 0 to minus 50 or so. I'll put 4. In this example, the fast has to be above the zero line by at least 4, or below by -4. So if you watch right here, this one right here, and I put this back to 0, you'll see a dot, I think. Okay, that's what that does. This only works with ones that have the ZL in front of it, the zero line. Okay, the distance from the slower line is where, for example, this one, fast and medium, the distance has to be, I'll put that at 2 and see what it does. Okay, it didn't do much. We'll try 4 again. In order for it to draw a dot, the fast would have to be above the medium by at least 4, or the fast would have to be below the medium line by -4. And what it does is it starts to just go sideways. It will reduce the false signals. And then this other value down here, this mode slope steepness, that only works on these slope modes. So, for example, this is what the slow slope only. Basically, when the slow line changes slope, it will draw a dot. For example, if I put this to 4, the difference has to be greater, for it to draw a dot has to be greater than 4 to draw an up dot, or less than -4 to draw a down dot. We'll put it, let me scoot this over here. And you can watch right here, you'll see it change. Okay, it just removes a little bit of the noise, but also you lose the earlier entry possibility. So that's what that does. Again, it only works on the ones that have the slope variable. Okay, and this one here, the zero line plus slope, will work with both the slope. Both of these will affect it. There are some settings you can change these to where none of the dots will show up. So if you find yourself in that position, just set these back to 0 and they'll show up again. I've added a few other indicators. I mean, these are the normal ones, the regular Wilder RSX, which this is a real good one. They're all really good. So these other input indicators, like the demarker, or we can try the RVI, they all have slightly different responses, stochastic. You can see how this line is. You can smooth that out, and that's what this smooth does here. I think you could just make this 4, maybe, and see how it just smooths it out a little bit there. If you set it to 1, it just completely bypasses it, or less than 1 or less, it will bypass it. Oh, and I forgot this. When you have this on this RSX, this thing, 2 is the default value, but say if you put it to 1.5, it kind of stretches it out a little bit. It responds differently than changing the fast and slow step size. I'm not exactly sure how it does that, but you can, really stretch it out this way. But 2 is the default. Only we'll put it back there. And then this other here, this is just works only with the stochastic, and it'll just change the stochastic response. So this is just an indicator that's based on the same Haven't put it out yet. It should be done pretty soon. There's a number of these I'm going to put out, but this is just a baseline trend direction. I mean, if you had something, like this to confirm your trend, you can see what it can do. Just stick it on any chart, and it's very versatile. So I guess that's it.